Texas gardeners out there waiting to plant for the spring all may have one question on their mind. I know my husband and I do for sure. So is winter done in Central Texas? Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannin is looking back into history to try to see if we've had our last freeze. So what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's generally the question I've been getting a lot. Some parts of the hill country actually had a freeze this morning. And some of the answer to that question is it depends on where you are. Historically speaking, a lot of people, at least from a rule of thumb, have been telling me, hey, don't plant before Easter, just to be sure. That's not a bad thing to think about, but the average final freeze in Austin at Camp Mabry was February 15th. That is a full 23 days ago. And we don't have any signs of an additional freeze over the next week. When does the average last freeze happen in other parts of Central Texas? Well, we mentioned the Austin area around February 15th. Hays County, end of February. Williamson County, first few days of March. Eastern counties, mid to late February as well. So for the metro and our eastern counties, we are past our typical last freeze of the season. But in the hill country, we still have another few days to go. Today's the 10th, March 20th being the average final freeze in the hill country. So especially if you're watching us in the hill country, I would wait to plant, especially the non-native plants. A lot of our native plants can do just fine with a light freeze. The recent final freezes, at least in Austin, look at 2022, March 12th, that's 2 days from now. So even as early or recently as 2022, we've had freezes later than this. And the latest freezes we've ever had have actually gone into April on a few separate occasions, although not particularly recently. No freezes expected in the metro for at least the next week, if not until next winter, though. Here's how it looks in high at the Covington Cellars. Blue skies and sunshine there. We expect this is going to set us up very nicely for a lovely evening. We're at 79 in Austin, really most of Texas in the 70s. So not a huge variety of temperatures statewide right now. That dry air will cool off eventually as the sun sets. We'll be in the 60s here by 8, and then overnight lows falling into the 50s and 40s. 40s is how most of us should begin the morning tomorrow. There could be some spotty upper 30s in the hill country, but this time I expect all of the hill country stays above freezing. Temperatures by midday tomorrow in the low 70s, and then we should reach the low 80s for highs tomorrow. So about a couple of degrees warmer than it was today. There could be some mid 80s in parts of the hill country. Clouds and radar. I know the map is animating, but you're not seeing any clouds moving because there are no clouds across Texas now. And we'll take you into the future. As you can see, still no clouds tomorrow. So another cloud-free day tomorrow. That changes Wednesday. Low clouds start to stream in. It's possible we get a little bit of drizzle in the morning, then the clouds burn off, and then as a dry line and a cold front push through, we could get a very isolated shower or storm during the afternoon and early evening on Wednesday, although most of the stormy activity is not really going to pick up until it heads farther east of us. So tonight we're down to 45, so a cool night, but not quite as cold as last night was. In many places about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than it was this morning for nighttime lows. And then our day tomorrow, 81 and sun. Wednesday, sun and scattered clouds, 87. 10% rain chance for that sprinkle in the morning or the stray storm in the afternoon. Windy though Wednesday, and then look at Thursday. That could be our first 90 of the year. I want to go back to Wednesday though, because the wind on Wednesday combined with that drier air could cause some significant fire concerns. Look at the wind gusts Wednesday afternoon, especially in the hill country. Not just 20 to 40 mile per hour gusts, but we could get some gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range if worst comes to worst here. The rest of the area, a southerly wind, which is a little more humid and not quite as strong, gusting 20 to say 30 miles per hour. And then those winds slowly coming down as we head into Wednesday night. But ahead of that gusty wind and the dry air, we've already got a fire weather watch from the National Weather Service for Gillespie, Llano, Burnett, Mason, San Saba counties Wednesday afternoon and evening. So good thing to think about wherever you are Wednesday, but especially in the hill country, that we've got that elevated fire risk because of the wind and the dry air. Thursday, we're up to 90. Friday, very close to that, 89. Morning clouds, afternoon sun. And then a cold front knocks us down into the low 80s Saturday. But both Friday and Saturday will have elevated fire concerns as well. Low 80s through the weekend and mid 80s and breezy on Monday.